5 p.m. right now, so let's get started. My name's Kenny. I'm from the Proof Living contract team, and welcome to an afternoon with Hey, a design talk with He Welling. So I'd like to thank you everyone for coming online to join us this afternoon. We have a lot to share with you. So before I get started, I'd like to talk a little bit about Hey and Proof Living. So this year, Proof Living has been working closely with Hey from Denmark to share with our friends more about Hey, its products, and what goes beyond it. So in January, we actually held an intimate Lunar New Year gathering for our designer friends at a Hey Cafe. And this Hey Cafe is located in Kallang. It doubles as our mini Hey showroom. We had a lovely night with food and drinks, and we celebrate the prosperous year ahead. So hopefully next year we can also have the same thing when things gets better. So this Hey Cafe is furnished with Hey, where guests can come and sit and experience Hey. And we also sell some small little knickknacks in the cafe. And if you haven't been to our Hey Cafe yet to see Hey accessories, I'll briefly share what they are. So those kind of really cute everyday items that's useful and fun to look at. Well, I have great news, guys. Today we have prepared a fun polling segment, and everyone here can stand a chance to win some Hey goodies. This month, we also had a multiple presentation with Laura from Hey. She oversees the Asia Pacific region, and she's in the call today as well. So, hi, Laura.
Hi, Kenny.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, everyone. First of all, I wanted to thank Proof Team for putting this together, but also everyone who's been joining us in the last week for the presentations of our new extension products. Today, we're very happy to bring He Welling to you guys. He will be taking you on the design journey of one of our most iconic collections, which you've seen last week as well. So once again, thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoy this session. Back to you, Kenny.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Okay, so today is the highlight of the month. So we will share an afternoon with world-renowned designer He Welling, and we are so privileged to have him with us today. He took the time out of his busy schedule to join us. So before we get started, a little bit about our guest of honor. He Welling started his studio in Copenhagen in 2003, focuses on furniture, interior, lighting, and industrial design. And since then, he's won multiple awards, such as the Bobby Dre Design Award, the Good Design Award from USA, and also he ranked top 200 in Architectonic's list of most popular designer in 2015. His designs are so popular around the world. They are beautiful, they're functional, and you can see them in places like the Oslo Opera House, the Australian Parliament, Amazon's head office, and even the head office of American rapper Dr. Dre. And today, he will be going through with us his design philosophy, his processes, and we'll also get to know more about him as an individual. So at the end of the session, right, we're going to open the questions to the floor. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, just feel free to put them into the chat box and we'll attend to them at the end of the session. So we have He Welling on the call with us today. He's joining us all the way from Denmark. Even though it's afternoon for us, good morning, He.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm very fine, thank you. Beautiful weather and nice to see so many people here. So that's amazing.
Well, we're really thankful that you could set aside some time for us. How are things in Denmark?
Actually, we are getting more and more back to normal. Of course, now we can see all around the world that we have this second wave started, but as it is now, it's okay. I think the only thing that hasn't opened yet is bars and restaurants, but besides that, it's more or less normal.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. All right, before I pass the time over to He for his presentation with us, I'd like to advise everyone to mute your microphone throughout the presentation, but feel free to have your video switched on so we can best engage with you. All right, so over to you, He.
Sorry, once again.
Over to you. You can start now.
Yes. Okay. First of all, thanks for inviting me. It's nice to see so many people here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my collaboration with Hey, and of course with focus on the About the Chair collection. One second here. A little bit about the agenda. We have around 20-25 minutes now to tell this story. Normally spend twice so much time, so I'm going to have to speed up a little bit, but it's fine. Hopefully I can have time to tell about all of it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about, first of all, about the design, my philosophy on design, and then of course about the development. In this case, of course, especially about development, about the chair, and a little bit about the new part of the collection, the AAC 100s, and in the end, a little bit about what's next, about the future. For those of you who don't know, Denmark is normally known for this. We have some iconic pieces here in Denmark, the Lego brick, Hans Christian Andersen, and windmills. But besides that, we had some like a golden age of furniture design back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And these, most of the guys you see here is actually was extremely skilled. And what they did so many years ago is actually still iconical pieces today. What happened at that time was actually they worked very closely together with industry, and that was they made some pieces that is still today like really masterpieces. And this collection of people, and this many people actually at the same time, will probably never happen in a small country like Denmark again. So this is like our golden age of design, and this is also like our legacy. And this is actually also something we do in our studio. We try to not look back, but we build on top of that. So that means also we work a lot with for example, we have a workshop just next to our studio. So we work a lot on doing things by hand. We need to do things, we need to test things, we need to make sure that can do the prototyping and all that before we actually we can make sure it's good enough. So we call this the workshop the heart of the studio. And even though, of course, we spend a lot of time in the front of the computer, we still actually always go to the workshop to test these things out. It's a shared studio, so we are like, I think 12 people there now, some different companies. And of course, it's nice to have different type of people in there. So some do interior design, some do product design, and some do art. And one of my fascinations that actually has been ever since I started the design school was actually about how things are produced, because it's really important that you know that how things should be made, because you need to think that in from the beginning when you start to do design. Problem is always if you make a nice piece of design and then you need afterwards to find out how it should be produced, because then it's very difficult actually to make this mass production possibilities put into the product. So you need to do that from the beginning. So I've always been fascinated by this huge machinery, by these big toolings, and I still think it's so fascinating to go visit the subcontractors to see how things are made. And of course, also make sure that not only the facilities are okay, but also that the whole way through the process, everyone takes care of the pieces. So what comes out in the end is the best quality and the best possible design. Another thing, of course, that's always make me extremely proud and happy is when you spend so much time on things you were working on, and suddenly you start to see people buying them, using them, posting them, sending pictures to me also as well, small stories about how they like things. And really, for me as a person, it really warmed my heart, and it's so nice to see and hear that. So that was a little bit about, of course, what would drive me, and to start with the beginning of how I met Hey. I actually have to start with this chair, not about a chair, but the Hey chair. It's a wire chair. It was actually made back in 2004 when I just graduated. I graduated in 2003, and I showed this at a fair in 2004. And actually, the whole concept behind it was actually to create a piece of furniture with only using one material. So it's a matter of giving myself some limitations. Normally, when you start in a process, you can more or less do whatever. Sometimes it's actually nice to have limitations, so you can actually work within this field and actually also, of course, make your skills better within the small fields. So I've always been fascinated about the steel. So in this case, I want to do a steel chair, and everything actually also due to environmental issue. It should be also to choose one material is also possible, because then you can actually recycle it completely afterwards. So what you need to do here is afterwards, you need to take the 4 small plastic feet off, and it can be 100% recycled. Actually, that was also, it was shown at the fair in Copenhagen, 2004. And that was actually when I met and Rolf, the founders of Hey. during the fair, I actually had 4 different contacts for manufacturers who would like to produce the chair. But when they came by, it was like, it was just so logical. They came with so much passion, so much drive, so much energy that immediately just felt that this was the right place, the right home for the chair. So even though, of course, some of the other manufacturers were actually more established, more well-known, with much more turnover, it just felt right to choose this couple here. And actually, probably at that time, it would seem like a bad investment because why not choose a bigger company? But it probably been the best decision I ever made. And actually now, 15 or 16 years later, we're still working together. So it's been an amazing journey. Hey, at that time, actually did a lot of, they just started up 1 year before I met them. So actually for a small company, they started up very ambitiously. So they started up with some very technical products. If you take one to the left, it was the first chair where actually you sew the cover and then you more or less blow or inject the foam into the chair. The one in the middle was the first chair made of 100% PET felt. And last one was a new way to do laser cutting and bending. So it was very ambitious and very like complex products to start up with. And also for a small company that was also very demanding. And I just think at one time just had enough of this. It was really like, okay, this is so complex. Why do we need to always choose these very complex things? So one evening actually called me and said, I would like to do a chair where we focus on the basic, like the basic needs, like comfort, like shape, like function. I would like to do that project with you. And of course, that was a huge honor because he could choose whatever, whoever designer he wanted in the world, but he wanted to do that for me. And of course, I immediately say yes. So actually, that was where it all started. And that's also why we're going to tell a little bit now about how, for me, what design is, because it is actually, and in many ways, it's also the same philosophy as Hey has. For me, design is not just a word, because design as a word has been like overexposed the last many years, and it's like there's so many more things to that to make great designs. And for me, these 6 parameters is actually very important. Of course, you need a partnership. You need to find the right manufacturer to work with. You need to find someone you, of course, like and respect as a person, but also as a professional. And for especially with Hey, once again, Rolf has so much knowledge and so much drive and so much passion about this. So it's infect you as well. So I think together we can make much better products than we could do, of course, individually. Second of all, of course, we need to do this in a way so we choose the best quality, not only in construction, but also material-wise. We did, within the last 14 years, a lot of optimizations, try to optimize the way we produce it so we can make it more environmental friendly, more cost friendly. So all these things, of course, needs to be optimized to have the best possible product. And not only for only construction, but also the handling. I mentioned a little bit before that you need to make sure that everyone through the whole chain of production take care of this and pay the respect to these products so the end customer will get the best quality and the best product possible. Environmental issues, even though that when we started on this 14 years ago or 16 years ago, it was not that big an issue. Of course, today it has been, and we all need to take care of that and do the best possible, whatever we can, as much as we can do for the environment. What we found out very early was the best thing, or what we still think actually is the best thing we can do, is to make sure that things can be separated after use. So that you can divide the plastic, the aluminum, the steel, every different component needs to be divided afterwards, because then they can be recycled separately in the pure materials. The problem is if you start to mold things completely together, you cannot separate it. It can more or less only be burned. But the way the whole construction of AEC collection is actually everything can be taken apart. Another, of course, a very important issue is that if you can make things that are long lasting, we have for many years have a little bit bad way of using, especially maybe small pieces of design that they use for a small period and then they're just thrown out. We wanted to create something that both design-wise, but also like construction-wise, quality-wise, is made to be actually passed on for generations. So when you don't want to use this chair anymore, or pass away, whatever happens, then you can pass it on to your family, or you can sell it secondhand. This is not meant to be just thrown away. So this is built to last for many, many years. And that's of course also been, as mentioned before, design wise, it's very important that you don't do something that is actually very fashionable at the moment, because then the time limit of this product is actually very, very short. So we want to do something very clear, very simple, also very much linked to the way of doing Scandinavian design. So hopefully when you see this chair in 15 or 20 or 50 years, it's not type typical from the series, but it's still a good chair that actually people can still look at and find interesting. About the comfort, of course, it's very important, especially in chairs. It needs to, of course, fit your body. You need to find out a way so you can actually sit in it and you can move around in it, and it fits everybody, not only one type of body. We spend a lot of time on finding the right curves, the right center axis, the right surfaces to make it as good as possible. What you of course always can do, you can always add extra comfort by adding more upholstery to it. But I think what we've done with the construction or the shape of the regular plastic chair is actually, at least we don't hear many complaints about people sitting bad in it. I think we really found a shape that more or less fits everyone, and it's very comfortable also for longer use. Innovation, of course, when starting on a product lab, you have no idea where it's going to end up. And we made a lot of different items for this collection that was not standard pieces. If you, for example, take a small linking system, this piece you can actually click together on the left. It was actually made for this collection, and actually now it's turned out to be for a Swedish manufacturer. They bought it and they actually produce it now, and everyone else can buy it as well for other chairs. So a lot of things have been made actually for this collection, because we want once again to make it as good as possible, and more as optimized as possible. Another thing, of course, is a little bit like, maybe not invention, but when we showed this the first time, we were more or less the first in many, many years to combine the artificial material like the plastic together with the woods. It was also, of course, done by the Eames back in the 50s. But when we did it, it was more like it completely, the market was more that it had a very big impact on the market to do these things, to add more warmth to the plastic chair, to add more home feeling. And this is actually still one of the best-selling items within the collection, the AAC 22. And I think also this was one of the main reasons for this collection actually to be this big a success as it's been. And of course, the function. We have a saying, and also within the Scandinavian design tradition, that forms follows function. And actually, a lot of these things is when you start to find out the right shape for how you actually sit well. The more or less the outline of the chair, the shape of it is more or less given from that. So much of the form is actually determined by the function. We have, of course, made so many great chairs, very comfortable, nice chairs. What we, of course, or I did a lot for many, many years, actually measure up these chairs, find out if there is any like golden rules. What is the right seat angle? What is the right depth? What is the right height? All these things. And of course, you find out that more or less all the chairs actually works and is very comfortable, more or less work within the same dimensions. So instead of trying, of course, to challenge that, actually we based on top of that to find out, whatever we make sure is the right decisions and make the right comfort. And of course, once again, if you go back to this diagram, you see these things. And for me, actually, that is exactly what makes great design. So if I can more or less make a check on all these things, that's normally what make a great piece. A little bit about the development, because as mentioned, it's been a long journey. We started out 16 years ago. So it's been a really long journey together with not only Hey, but also with the product development team, engineering, and product developments from other external ones. I could choose more or less whatever item in the collection, but I would like to tell a little bit about actually how we started up with the column base. Because we wanted to create, actually it was an idea that came from all, instead of normally what you do is you have a column base, it is like one big piece. First of all, it demands a huge mold. a lot of steel used for that. And second of all, it's very difficult to handle because it needs to be shaped afterwards, it needs to be sanded, it needs to be polished. It's very difficult with such a big piece. So we thought about what is it possible to do this in a way so actually we can do it with 4 separate legs instead. And even though when you see the result now, it looks very simple and easy, it took us actually 2 years to find out the right way to do that, because there's a lot of tension in the connection in the center of the column. And we want to make sure that, of course, was just as strong as what you see here, like a normal base that is like one solid piece. As mentioned before, this is like size-wise what normally it takes from the tooling when you want to make a column base in one piece. And this is more or less the size of the tooling we have now for one piece leg. And of course, also transportation-wise, we can more or less add 10 times as many items in the same amount of box or area as we can do. As we can do within like a standard way to pack these things. So there's so many good ways so many good reasons to do this actually. But once again, it was a very hard struggle. And actually, well, that's also why we found out very early that we cannot do this alone. I worked months on trying to solve this, also together with Hay. And we found out that if we also, of course, invited the product development teams, the engineering teams, the subcontractors, if we all put our effort and our know-how and our knowledge into like one box, we found out within this small area where all of our limitations and strengths actually meets, we could do that's actually where the magic happens. That's where we can actually start doing things that we could not done separately. And another thing, of course, that's very positive about this, that if you can make this so people also feel that it's their products, so the subcontractors actually feel, okay, I've also been a part of this process. That also means that they feel some ownership and they want to go a little bit further in trying to solve the different problems we're going to meet on the way. So it's been a really, really great journey together with all these companies. And also, as you can see here, this is how it looks now. So of course, all the things that actually are covered inside, you can't see. And what you see right here is actually that these 2 small things, we have the small piece on top, the conical part actually goes and lock the things together, and a small ring from underneath that also screwed together. These things were actually not made from me or from Hay, but they were made from some subcontractors. And without these 2 small pieces, it wouldn't have been possible to do. But of course, when we put all our knowledge together, it worked out. And today, I think the strength of this space is you can't destroy it. It's really, really strong. So it's just show how we can actually make things much better, much smarter, and much more clever and optimized if we work together closely. Today, the collection is actually around 80 different products. And of course, as a designer, when you're looking at a picture like this, this is actually a dream come true, because this is normally never happens in the furniture industry, that you have the possibility to completely fill out the whole range of furniture. Normally, if you're lucky, you can make one piece or 2 in a small collection, but to do this as a whole collection with this many pieces is, yeah, it's really, I really feel lucky and yeah, of course, proud as well. About the newest member of the family called AAC 100. Actually, what we did, we talked about, because the collection is so wide now, so we need to also find out where is actually still missing pieces in the collection. And we found out that we actually would be nice to have a chair that actually is a little bit higher, a little bit wider, so it's more suitable for longer meetings, restaurants where you need to spend many hours. So we need to add a little bit more comfort, a little bit more, width to it, a little bit more height. So actually what we did was we took the lounge chair, the outline of the lounge chair, and we took the size of the regular chair and more or less merged it together. And the outcome of it is actually what you see right here is AAC 100. So we took more or less the best from these 2 different chairs and put them together and created what we also think is as mentioned before, it's a very, very high quality of chair, comfortable wise. We start there. So by adding this extra foam to it, this extra width to it, it's really amazing. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I think please try setting it. It was, and hopefully you have the same feeling as we do when we tried it out. We work with two different upholsteries. We work with like a standard upholstery you see on the left, like a fixed foam, and then we worked on the soft upholstery. The soft upholstery is more or less like you add some layers of cotton underneath. So when you sit in it, it completely absorbs your body. And once again, you need to. I can spend a lot of words trying to explain it, but that's impossible. So you need to try it out, and it's really amazing. Of course, we have the whole range of the collection, and of course, we need to add all the different bases to that as well, to the AC100. But once again, you cannot just take the standard bases from the other chairs and just add to it, because of course, due to the different sizes of it, and also due to it's much more foam in the seat, so we need to actually make the bases a little bit lower. So every base needs to be completely redone, of course, with the same expression and the same design identity. But so now it completely works within the rest of the collection. And this is the pieces we have right now. We're still working on some new bases that will be added on the next coming years. So yeah, this is where we have started out. And also another thing that has been very important about this, especially with this upholstery chairs, is that it actually is possible to more or less create your own chair, because it's possible to choose whatever foam, whatever fabric, whatever leather you prefer. So different fabrics, different colors, different leathers you can combine. You actually have something called dual upholster. So you can have like one upholster on the back and one on the front. Determine what kind of comfort you want, or where it need to fit in, if there's like a logo color for a company that needs to fit to, or something like that. So you can more or less do the customization completely individually, meaning that you can more or less create your own chair. And that, of course, is also important, because then the end customers also have the feeling that this is not just a standard piece I bought. I actually made my own version of that. That's compared, of course, with also the price issue, because this is very important that we reach out to as many people as possible. Hayes' philosophy, and it's the same with mine from the beginning, also been, we don't want to create design for very small, rich elite. We want to create design that actually is reachable for as many people as possible. And price-wise, if you compare this to some of the other pieces that actually also made for more or less for contract use or for high-end dining, we are more or less 40% lower than these competitors. So I think also price-wise, we really optimized things within all these things, as you can see there, with the comfort, with construction, innovation, to make sure that the price is as low as possible. So what's next? It's been an amazing journey, and it hopefully will continue for many, many years to come. We've actually just been adding this soft upholstery to actually some of the other items in the collection. So we started out with the regular armchair, and also once again it can be more or less customized as if you want, because you can add leather or fabric in whatever color and quality you prefer. Of course, once again, you can use with all the different bases, so you just have a little bit more soft feeling. And once again, you have the same feeling when you sit it, you just completely absorb your body. It actually is like putting on a glove, a very nice quality of glove that just fits your hand perfectly. And also for the lounge collection, we added this soft upholstery, and it also completely turned out the lounge chair to something completely different, because once again, it's the quality of the comfort is really high. Besides that, actually, also we've been adding on the collection, a part of the collection that we're going to call About Chair Eco, AAC Eco, and it's made from 100% recycled plastic, meaning that all the shells come from recycled plastic, from scrap plastic all over the world. And the wood basis as well, it has a clear water lacquer now, meaning that all the different pieces what you see here is made from as natural material as possible, and everything can be recycled afterwards. The wood, of course, can be burned, but there's nothing chemical to it. The water lacquer is just part of the process when you burn it. So this, of course, is also what we're going to extend as well for the following years. So besides that, what's next? Actually, a lot of things that has been added to this collection has actually not been something that came from me or a brief from Hey, but it's actually been about when we did the development and the manufacturing, we got it out to customers, and all the feedback we got from them, all the different requests, because suddenly they would like to have for example, the lounge chairs was actually made for Hilton hotels. They would like to use the chairs for the room, but they want a bigger chair for all the lounge areas. So they came to us and said, can you make a lounge version of it? And normally that's very rare that actually the customers come to you and ask for a line extension. But that actually happens in this case, and actually it happened a lot of times. So many of these things that actually been added to the collection has actually come from all you clients. So please continue with that. It's so amazing that we get the feedback, and also we hear that can you please add this to the collection, because this is actually for us the perfect way to find out what's needed more to fill out the whole range of this. And then of course, what happens also, you also get the feedback from clients that I also mentioned in the beginning, that it makes me very proud. I got this from a Dutch guy who told me that this is actually how his daughter learned to ice skate. Actually, I never saw that coming, but it's just so nice to see that actually you can find ways of using your products in ways you never could imagine. So actually, that was more or less it for my presentation. I think also time-wise, I think I spent a little bit more, but hopefully that's okay.
Right. Hi. Thank you, He. That was a lovely presentation. Really is different, isn't it? How we can look at a piece in a store or a showroom and we never really know all the considerations that goes into a design. How so many people actually work together to achieve a successful chair. But I've always appreciated the AA lines, and after that presentation, it's even clearer what the thought processes were that goes into this iconic Hey piece. Also, he mentioned that sometimes people give feedback and it can become part of the collection, or it can also help to work on the collection. So anybody here want to design a Hey chair? We'll appreciate if your input. You can also leave them in the chat. I'm grateful that you took the time to put together these slides to go through the inspiration and consideration behind the AA lines. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Okay, so before we jump into the questions from the floor, we've arrived at our mini poll segment. So with questions about the presentation so far. So how it works is we're gonna do this on this online website called Kahoot. It's an online polling website that comprises of multiple questions with answer coded in specific color that correspond with the screen of your phone. So these questions, they have a time limit. And if you get the questions right, you win points. And if you get the questions right faster than your peers, you'll get even more points. So there's a total of 3 tote bags with gifts for the top 3 winners. So everyone, do you have your mobile phones on you? Please open the web browser and key in www.kahoot.it. That's www.kahoot.it. So on the screen, you can see Kahoot at the top. So you just got to key in www.kahoot.it. And the game pin is 825005. 825005. Well, give everyone a moment to come join the game, all right? We'll cut off at 3 minutes from now. So now it's 2:40 p.m. and we'll cut off at 2:43. Oh, I see some very interesting nicknames. Hello, yes.
We're not going to join because we've got a lot of Hey stuff here and we don't want to be tested. We might fail.
That's not fair, Laura. If you join the game, it's not going to be fair for anybody.
I expect you to win, Laura.
I know. I think I could though, I think I could do this.
We can test it afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. We can have
Can
Jorg
everybody see the
be
screen?
part of this too.
Can everybody see the screen? If you
Yep.
have trouble seeing the screen, let me know in the chat box as well.
There's a lot of people joining.
Right, that's about 37 players right now, and 3 tote bags to
Yep.
be given out. So 10% chance to win, guys.
Come on, guys.
You don't have to download.
You can join? I'm not gonna join.
I'm not gonna join.
Yeah, I'm not gonna join either.
Cheating.
Why are you afraid that you'll score badly, Kenny?
Don't
I'm
worry,
afraid
I'll
I'll
test you
disappoint you,
guys. I'll test you guys next week.
Oh no, that's an exam.
You won't be winning anything though, unfortunately.
Ooh.
All right, it's 2:42 p.m. 1 more minute and we'll start the game, all right? Okay, so for this game, my colleague Dini, she'll be hosting and she'll run through the questions and answers with you and you can key them in into the screen of your phones. All right, Dini? I'll mute my chat.
Hi everyone, my name is Dini from marketing and I'll be facilitating the game. So before we start, I just want to remind everyone that the questions do have a time limit. So the faster you answer the questions right, you actually get more points. Okay? So we have 40 players inside. Good luck everyone.
It's time sensitive.
Okay, 41 players. No more? Okay, 42 players. Any more?
We're waiting until 2:43. Okay, it's 2:43.
Okay, let's start. What is the name of his studio? Red, He Welling Studio. Blue, He Design. Yellow, Welling Studio. And green, Welling Designs. You have 10 seconds to get this right. Remember, the faster you answer, the more points you get. 2 seconds. And okay, we have 25 people who got it right. That's right, it's He Welling Studio. Now let's see the scoreboard. Let's see who got it the fastest. We actually have A. I'm not sure who A is, but we have A, followed by Proof Wolf, followed by Misty, followed by Pau, and then PJ. These are our top 5 people. Next question. His work is characterized by a great sense of proportion and quietly elegant looks. True or false? Blue for true and red for false.
Fastest fingers first, guys.
6 seconds on the clock. Okay, everyone answered.
I'll get at least one answer right.
Okay, true. 39 people actually got it right. Let's see. 11 people actually up. We have Proof Wolf who actually got
Who's
the
this?
highest. Who is Proof Wolf? And then we have Misty, followed by JT, Andy, and then Pau. Okay, next. Which design does not belong to he? You know, take a good look at the photos on your screen. Which one does not belong to he? Proof, guys. I'm counting on you guys to get this right.
You guys better get this right. I'm telling you from here.
That chair.
Okay, we got 26 people who got it right. Let's see.
My gosh, so nervous.
Oh, we have a new winner, new person who has joined the top 5, which is Hey. Okay. Which is not part of his AA collection. Take a good look at the pictures. Which one is not part of the AA collection? This is pretty obvious, guys.
Or is it?
It's a free win for everyone. And time. 29 people got it right. What? Come on, guys. This is pretty easy. Let's see the scoreboard. Oh, we have a new top person. We have Misty, top right now, followed by Andy, followed by Hey Hey Hey, followed by SMS. And then we have STZX. That's a very familiar username. I wonder who that is. Next. What are the design considerations for his AA collection? Red, partnership, innovation, quality, function, environment, and comfort. Blue, style, function, environment, and comfort. Yellow, colors, material, shape, and comfort. All right. 35 of you got it right. Yes, we were all listening. Okay, PJ has joined the scoreboard. We have 3 more questions to go. What year did He Welling graduate from the Danish Academy of Art and Design? Red, 1993. Blue, 2013. Yellow, 2003. And green, 2023. 8 seconds left. And time. Oh, we actually got a tie between 1993 and 2003. Okay, so the right answer is 2003. Carol and G just joined the scoreboard. It's a really interesting game, this one. We actually have 4 players who actually got 3 questions right, like 3 questions right continuously. And Misty is still top of the scoreboard. The 7th question, what was the first design that Hay and He Welling made together? Red, the He chair. Blue, R12 table. Yellow, about a stool. And green, ant chair. 10 seconds left on the clock. 6 people have yet to answer. That's right. It is the He chair. 21 people got it right. 14 people thought it was the about a stool. Good try, guys. Oh, we have a new top person on the scoreboard. It's Andy with 8,249 points, followed by Carol, G, XY, and then Misty. You know, the tables are turning. The tables are turning. How many products is there approximately in the AAC collection? Red, 60, blue, 70, yellow, 80, and green, 90. 6 seconds left on the clock. Okay. It is actually 80, which is yellow. 14 people got it right. Good try, guys. It's a fair number across the board. Let's see who's Carol has actually stole the top place in the scoreboard with 9,092 points, followed by G, XY, Andy, and Hey Hey Hey. Up, we actually have someone who climbed 8 places up. This person called Joe, who's the highest climber. And the last question, time to redeem yourself. What is the new upholstery for the AAC collection called? Red, Alice, blue, lounge, yellow, molded, and green, soft. 5 seconds on the clock. I think 6 people have yet to answer. Okay, it's a fair fight. We have the right answer is actually soft, which is green. Lounge is just a type of furniture, guys. All right, now let's see the results. In 3rd place, we have Andy with 9,046 points. 2nd place, we have G. In first place, we have Carol. Yay!
Wow, congratulations, guys.
And then runners
Well
up.
done, guys.
Yes,
We have
very nice.
X, Y, and let me see, who was the third one? But anyway, Misty. Misty, that's right. So Misty, you got fifth, and XY, you got fourth. Carol, Andy, and G, if you don't mind, just reach out to one of us after the game so that we can actually deliver the gift to you personally.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, nice work.
Woo.
It's good to see a lot of people were listening.
It tastes to
Okay.
listen.
All right, thank you for playing
Yeah,
first,
it's hard
guys.
to stay awake.
Okay, so I've actually put down my contact detail on the side, and the winners are Andy, G, and Carol. So you're all each gonna be winning a Hey Tote bag with Hey Goodies within. Congratulations, guys.
Yay.
Okay. So as you're using nicknames, we don't really know who you are. So please let me know or let any of us know. Okay. So as we move on, we're gonna have a mini interview session with He Welling. And we've prepared some questions, but if you have your questions of your own, please feel free to put them into the chat box as well. Okay, are you ready, He?
I'm ready.
I cannot hear him. Oh, I'm on mute. Okay. Okay, let's get started.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Yes.
Okay. So this AA collection is nice. We've seen it, we've talked into detail. What do you believe is the key aspect that makes this collection, this AA collection, so successful?
There's a lot of different aspects to it. First of all, it's about the perfect timing, having the right product at the right time, with the right price, with the right manufacturer. Second, of course, there's a lot of hard work put into it. So it has not been like just a walkover. It's been really like a struggle for many, many pieces. Actually, we have been spending years in trying to find the right solutions for it. So I think all this effort we put into it, and all this, especially effort, we really did the best possible solutions for many of the things. And also, when you look back now, normally what happens when you look at a piece from a distance, 2 years or 4 years back, is you always look at it and say, maybe we should change a little bit there or adjust it a little bit there. But in this case, actually, I think we took so many right decisions. And that's also hopefully why it's also going to be long lasting. That, there's nothing to it. That is just shows that it's made, actually 10 years ago now, it was the first time it was shown. So I think there's so many aspects to it. It's really complex to answer, but I think if you really do a big effort, and once again, you have the right timing and the right price and the right manufacturer, I think that's the key issues.
Yeah, totally. So it's the right timing, the right price, and the right piece. That's true. Timing is so important. And also, this furniture industry that wherein it started from vastly different styles from different part of the world. And also, like, over the recent years, people are more exposed to different kind of designs. And one of the main design elements that's also like being used all over the world, the biggest influence today, is the Scandinavian design. Like, what do you think is the Scandinavian design, and how come it's so popular today?
I think actually what the whole Scandinavian design is actually based on is it's actually much about logic, much about doing it, using the right materials in the right way, leaving out there's no leftovers. There's not like decoration pieces add to it. It's just like very more or less cut to the bone. What you see is what you get, meaning that I think the way you think and think Scandinavian design is actually that everything is there for a reason. And also today, with all these environmental issues, for example, we need to make sure that we don't just use material just for using it. We need to do it in a way so we create things that are long lasting, that can be hopefully shared for many, many years to come. And if you choose that approach by choosing the best possible materials, the best possible constructions, and do it design-wise, so it's very simple, very minimalistic, very clean, it is long lasting. And I think actually that is the main issues of Scandinavian design. That is the things you see back from 50s, 60s are still relevant today. And not many pieces can actually last that many years.
Yeah, that's true. Like, sustainability is so important right now. And with like this kind of minimal design, you use less, we save the earth, and also it cuts down on the cost of shipping and production. All this is really good design. So you're also a designer, and you're also a design tutor at the Royal Danish Academy of Fine Arts. It's amazing that you're giving back by imparting your knowledge to those who look up to you, then they are following in your footsteps. What is the best advice that you've given to your students?
First of all, you need to still keep your own personality. Don't look too much towards trends, too much what other people are doing. Do whatever you think is right. Once again, also look just around you. You're everyone, no matter where in the world you're located. There is so many different craftsmanship, so many different materials that are just outside your door. You don't need to find constructions or materials from the other side of the world. I think we need to start looking local. I think we need to start, finding out our own path. Once again, the Scandinavian design tradition have a huge influence the last many years. But actually, my best advice is actually to, if you take, for example, many pieces in Asia, you have so much great craftsmanship, so a huge legacy for making very, very nice crafted pieces. I think we should look at them and find out a way to optimize it, make it in a new way, so it's more, of course, maybe not that much tradition to it, but more like make it in a new optimized way. There's so many possibilities. So don't look too much towards the West. Find out your own legacy and build on top of that. Actually, that is my best advice.
I think that's very good advice. To just to also look to believe in yourself, to not always look to others. Definitely, we learn from each other. But using local, that's so good for sustainability. That's very good advice. So I know that like copying, it's common, like everybody does it, and one of the biggest issue right now in the furniture industry is also that there are replicas, especially if your piece is popular, right? There's replicas going around in the market. What's your opinion on the counterfeits of Hey products, your AAC products going around the market?
Of course, it's always sad to see because the quality normally is very, very poor. So it's maybe what seems like a good investment. If you can buy a chair that more or less look the same as the original, and you can buy it for 1/5 of the price, it maybe seems like a good investment. But what happens is within a few months or a few weeks, maybe it's going to fall apart. And then, of course, then you can choose next time you want to buy a new replica or you want to buy the original. And if you look at it in the long run, actually, it's much better investment to buy the original because it's much better quality, it's more long lasting, and also what you can happen afterwards when you don't use the chair anymore, you can always resell it. You can sell it on a secondhand market, or you can pass it on to families or friends. So the life for that kind of furniture is much longer. So trust me, in the long run, it's much better to buy the original. There's no market for buying replicas afterwards. They've just been thrown out and burned. So, but of course, it's very difficult to stop. I think actually you can see it many places that companies that normally are used to doing replicas started to do their own design lines, and they find out how irritating it is that suddenly the neighbor just start to do the same. So I think we need to. It's going to take years, but I think people will find out that it's much more interesting, much more giving for you as a person, as a company, to do your own stuff. And there's so many skilled designers out there. So just grab one of them and do things that are yours, yours only, not just something you just copy from the guy next door.
Definitely being original. And we can also see that there's a lot of consideration that goes into the design process of your chair, the structure, the durability. It's all evident in your presentation. All right, we come to the last question. Do you ever get a design block? And if so, how do you get unstuck?
Actually, I've been really fortunate. I haven't had a design block yet. I have a sketchbook. Actually, I always have it next to me, so it's always in my bag. I actually sleep with it. And have a night table where it's just placed next to my bed. So I have thousands of sketches. So if I'm a little bit stuck, I can always go through that book and just find out some maybe details or products, items I can choose from there. So it hasn't been a problem for me. But what has been a problem, sometimes you're stuck regarding construction, for example. You have a problem, something you need to construct that is, you spend an enormous amount of hours, even months, finding out how to solve it, and it's not possible. And then, of course, a little bit back to what I said before, that then you need to open up and you need to invite people in, subcontractors, engineers, product development teams, and because together you can solve so many more things than you can do independently. So work as a team and do it together. It's much more fun to have people around you that all believe that they are part of the product, because it's everyone suddenly start to lift it up to something that you cannot do yourself. So yeah.
Well, that's good advice. Like, good ideas, it can come anywhere at any time. I think it's time to keep a notebook beside me and get good ideas all the time as well. So yeah, it can come from anyone. So you gotta work together. You can become original in the design. That's so true. Okay, we have some questions from the floor. All right, we'll start with one from Teresa. So, which of the iconic Scandinavian design has inspired and influenced you?
The most, or yeah, it's very difficult. That was made so many great pieces. Of course, there's some iconic ones. If I still, Paul Kerholm was one of my favorites, because he was more or less, he was probably the guy that has the most pure design identity. Everything is really cut to the bone. There's so precise, so nice made, very, very delicate. So many of these chairs is actually really, really nice. But also, if you look at Panton, for example, he made the Panton chair, the first plastic molded chair in one piece ever made. Fantastic piece. Bermonsen did some really amazing wood pieces. Wiener, he did hundreds of different chairs, and they all in a very, very high level. So it's very difficult to choose one of them. I think you have to look at the whole package, because these guys actually completely define the design tradition in Denmark. And to pick out one of them is very, very difficult. I think if you see them as a whole unit, that is actually where the strength of it comes.
Yes. Okay, we have another question. This is from Agnes. So the question is, the current pandemic, right, has seen a heightened sense of materials in terms of hygiene and touch. Definitely, these items need to be so much more durable if you're going to be sanitizing them like frequently. So do you see this as a possible future consideration in your design? Like, what are good ideas that can work with this?
Of course, if you can't choose solid materials, if you can use plastic, you can use lacquered or wood or metal. It is much easier than upholstered. That's pretty logical. But I really hope that within the next 1 or 2 years, we are on top of this pandemic. We found a vaccine, and actually we can step further from that, because if you start to do things that are only made to be easy to clean, I think we'll compromise a little bit probably the design issues. So I think actually there's so many things already out there that is very logical for use for too easy to clean. So it's difficult to tell, because I think this pandemic actually changes all the time. I thought actually more or less we were on top of it, and suddenly you see the second wave that we now start to see in many places in the world. So it's difficult to guess how much time we're going to live with it, but hopefully we'll find a vaccine and we can get on top of it.
Yeah, this pandemic has been so difficult for all of us. Yeah. I really wish they could get better soon. Is there anyone else?
Let's cross our fingers and hope for that.
We have another question. This is from Idols. Okay, so let's say the question is, what is your tip for a startup product/furniture designer who doesn't have much like big capital to do prototypes?
I think actually, of course, it's always a matter of a little bit of investment. You need to invest a little bit in the beginning. We have a saying in Denmark that it takes between 5 to 10 years before you actually can start to survive from your own designs. So there's a period where you need to actually just survive. I did the same in the beginning. I had like jobs on the side, workly actually mainly in the weekends or at nighttime, so it didn't conflict it with my daily job at my design studio. But this is how actually everyone has to start up. I think the most success I had with finding new manufacturers and selling my products in the beginning was actually to go to the different furniture fairs. In many fairs, they have these talent zones or greenhouses. They call all different things, where you can actually, for a reasonable amount of money, you can exhibit your products. And that's also where most of the manufacturers actually go to these areas during the fair to see if there's something new they can actually put in production. So, and of course, that is, if you go to a fair, you need to make prototypes. And of course, that is costly. And as mentioned, also with my first product with the steel, with the wire chair, the hay chair, actually I did it myself. I made a deal with the design studio or design school where I also teach at that time. That I did, yeah, I got a key for the workshop so I could use it in the weekends and night times. So you just need to find ways to do, because you need to do prototyping, especially if you're doing furniture. It's very difficult to show a rendering or show a small sketch model, because furniture is so much related to the body, and you need to find out how is it comfort? Can you sit in it? Is it strong enough? Is it stable? So it's so much more convincing to have a prototype in front of you at a fair that people can test than just sending out renderings. It's very rare actually that you get things in production by just sending out renderings to manufacturers. So my advice is do the prototype, even though it costs some money. Take spare time jobs or jobs on the side to finance that, and then go to the fairs and then get a lot of contacts. Maybe you don't get the product sold the first time, but you need to continue. And it is a struggle in the beginning. It is hard work, but you just need to keep on going. Yeah. There's no shortcut to it, unfortunately.
Thank you for sharing. That's so true. Like, you really have to try it, and really product works with your body. Well, we do have time for one last question. So this is a question from Xia Yinte. Any plans for cross collaboration between a local Singapore design studio with you and Hey? Is that possible?
Actually, everything is possible. We do collaboration also with other design studios once in a while. Our main problems actually in the last couple of years have been we have time problems. We have our order book is really full, so we are really like talking about a couple of years ahead to find out to make new products, because we are completely filled up. But we want to actually we do it. We work actually on 2 different products now together with other studios, and it actually is so nice to do. It's so nice to do this mix, because sometimes when you do it within your own studio, you can just focus 100% on what you think is the right solution. But as soon as you start to invite other people in, other studios, and you need to have the discussion and find out all the arguments to find out what is the right decision if we do it the shared way. So we do, and everyone is welcome, of course, to send me a mail or whatever. So yeah, we take it from there, but I can't guarantee anything. So
that's true. As we've mentioned before, good ideas can come from anyone and anywhere. So if anyone has a really good idea, can also send it to us. We'll send it to He or He, and who knows, you might be the next He Welling. And I volunteer to try your chair or your sofa for you.
Sounds great.
Okay, for anyone else with questions, we can also send that to He after, and then we'll get the answers to you like via email, as don't have as much time today. Okay, so great. Thank you, everyone. Like, we really appreciate everyone for coming today. We hope you've enjoyed today's session, and hopefully everyone learned something new. But it's amazing, isn't it? Like how we can all come into the same chat, even though we're on different parts of the world. We have Laura in Shanghai, we have He from Denmark, and thanks to this app called Zoom, right? We can all gather together. All right, so thank you, Laura. Thank you, He.
Thank
Living
you,
and
He, and thank you, Proof.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
All right. Proof Living and Hey will continue to hold events and talks like this, and we would be delighted to have all of you back with us next time. So until then, if you'd like to see the Hay collection, if you'd like to see He's chair, or you'd like to talk about us about these products, feel free to contact me or any of your representative proof salesperson. Right. Wish you a very happy day. Okay, thank you for coming. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Take care.
Stay safe.